Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto Was Abandoned and Awaken Genkai. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Exiled from the Osusuki clan over in Anime King 3. And over in Making 2, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Told About the Uzumaki clan from the beginning, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode, start the intro. So, the last part that we left off, Naruto was talking with Yugito, as he told her that he was also a Jinchuriki. She was angry because she didn't believe him, thinking that he was mocking her somehow. But he then showed her a glimpse of his past. It was then that he showed her his most painful memory of what happened to him in Konoha, and that was not when his mother left, something much worse, as tears leaked from her eyes as she saw what they did to him when he was a child, as she hugged him profusely. She apologized even though it wasn't her fault, as she didn't know, and yet she thought that he was a Jinchuriki and he did not suffer the same pain that she did because his father was the Hokage, as she hugged him tightly. As Naruto told her there was nothing to worry about, he also did her a favor as he was able to release Nibi out of the seal. Nibi was rather hyperactive as she jumped on him and kissed him, as Natsume came out of the bushes as Nibi went over to her and hugged her as she missed her a lot, as Naruto noticed the action as well. Naruto told Yugito to keep that secret. He also told her about the invasion to prepare herself just in case. Her mother was being held by the Raikage, well, not her actual mother, someone that adopted her. If she ever stepped out of line, it wouldn't be good for her. That is why she was being bossed around by the people of the village. And she couldn't really do much. Her job was to take care of her teammates to make sure nothing happened to them. She was Jinchuriki, and she was to put her life on the line to make sure that they were safe, especially the Raikage's son. With that, the next day came, as Anko brought all of them towards the forest of death, as she explained the rules, and they enter. As Naruto and his team was able to get that scroll so quickly, when they arrived, Yamato was shocked as they broke a record. But they weren't interested in getting it so easily, as both him and Natsume made their way out. And they ended up running into a few things. As Natsume went to have her fun, as Naruto made his way and he found Yugito, as he had to stop some rain ninjas from taking Yugito's friend hostage and saving her. As the jackass of the group, that guy wanted Yugito to save him and not care about the other teammate. Well, it would be a problem if she died because he wouldn't need to participate. That is what he said. He was a real asshole, as the girl called him. As Yugito heard what the girl said, what saved her. As she looked around as she got a scroll from nowhere. It was Naruto and she knew, as she clutched it as she smiled. So with that they made their way. As Naruto made his way when he heard Sakura, he went to go check out and see what was going on as he saw Sasuke on the ground in pain. As he heard the name, as he looked towards the man that was standing there, it was Orochimaru. As Naruto attacked Orochimaru, as the man had to flee. Sensing this amount of chakra, he thought that he was Anko was coming. As Orochimaru made his way to find Anko, Sakura and the others in a bad state, as Naruto helped him out a bit before going after Orochimaru, where he was torturing Anko a bit before he relented, as Naruto was currently in his real form, well without his tails and his pointed ears. As Orochimaru attacked him, Orochimaru found himself completely outclassed, as Naruto was fast, strong as he pummeled Orochimaru. Orochimaru had to use Anko as a hostage. Despite not going all out, Orochimaru thought that he could handle anyone in here, but still, that wasn't the case with this new stranger, as Naruto introduced himself as Araya. As Orochimaru made a deal with him, as he would make him leave, or he snapped Anko's neck right here, as Naruto could not let his friend die, so he agreed. And Orochimaru left, leaving Anko, who was in a bad state, as Naruto made his way up to her. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourselves. So what do you say begin this new episode? Anko-san, I need to take those out of you. Be ready, said Naruto. Orochimaru had pinned her to the tree with his kunais, and she was losing a lot of blood fast. He wasn't even sure that she heard him. As Naruto grabbed onto the kunais and ripped it out, as blood poured out of Uncle's hands that were pinned to the tree, as she screamed. But her body went limp as Naruto caught her. She lost too much blood as he gently set her down, as he assessed all the damage Orochimaru did to her, and it was bad. As Naruto took in a breath, before he placed his hands on her chest and stomach, as a purple aura came over him that washed over Uncle. It poured into her. It repaired broken bones, made flesh. Her skin tone returned back to normal once he was done, but now he had to work on her bleeding wrist. Uncle-san, you still with me? He asked. She groaned slightly as a response. I'm gonna have to sanitize your wounds before healing them. This will feel weird, but I assure you, it's nothing to worry about. As Naruto brought her wrist up to his mouth, demon art, saliva, restoration, he said. As he sank his teeth into her wrist, Uncle groaned at the penetration. But she didn't relax as she felt a warm sensation rush through her entire core that sent shivers down her spine. What is he doing to me? She thought to herself. As her body groaned, Uncle's blood started to sizzle, the bacteria and the poison. It all started to sizzle away. On the other hand, Uncle was going through an intense amount of pleasure, as the aura circulating through her core was too much. What is he doing? She said. She shivered, as she had to bite her lip from screaming. As Naruto was finished her left wrist, as he then moved to the right one, as Uncle felt tremors went through her body once again. When he was finished, he wrapped her wrist with medical tape that he had in his pouch. You still with me? Naruto asked. He was not sure if she lost consciousness or not. Yeah, she said. Good, because I need you to do something for me. As he pulled out a kunai and slit his own wrist. I need you to drink some of my blood. I don't have any blood pills, and I'm afraid you'll lose consciousness if you don't get any other medical attention. Uncle hesitated. Don't worry, I'm type O, said Naruto. You won't reject it. As she started to suck on his blood, as Uncle felt another wave of feelings wash over her body. She couldn't understand what this was. On the other hand, Uncle had a kind of blood fetish, given where she worked in the IT department. But this, the toxic feeling, turned into nothing but pure pleasure. You're right, said Naruto, as she was moving uncontrollably, shaking and twitching. As a few minutes passed, that should be enough, said Naruto, but she wouldn't let go of his hand. Just a little more, she said, as Naruto pulled back his hand, as he noticed her disappointed stare, leaving her completely unsatisfied. But at least she felt wonderful, compared to 10 minutes ago when she was sure that she was gonna die. She was on the brink of death after losing so much blood, and here she was, in a healthy state back. As Naruto's wrist healed rather quickly, as he helped Uncle up, but her body was too sensitive to his touch, as she trembled once again. As Naruto held on to her steadily, as he realized what was happening. Uncle, did you just? Slightly embarrassed, he had noticed that this girl had some kind of blood fetish, given the pheromones in the air, but this was a lot. Sorry about that, she said as she stood on her own. I kind of have a thing for her blood, and yours. It was, God, it was so good, she said, as Naruto still couldn't believe that happened, just from his blood alone. Well, how many men could say that they did that to a woman? I see. Well, I can understand the idea of a bloodlust, but a blood fetish, not so much. And I'm glad that you're better, he said. I would have hated to see how Hana-chan would have reacted if something worse would have happened to you. Speaking of which, I should get you to hospital. I may have medical knowledge in certain areas, but I'm still not a doctor. If only you were my real doctor, she said, as she licked her lips. Man, come on now. So which do you rather? Piggyback or Princess Carrot? You can be my horse, she said, as she got on his back. As she kicked his side, like a person would do a horse. Now giddy up. You know, I did just save your life. And now you're my horse, she said. Now let's go. As Naruto sighed, as she giggled at that, as he blasted off. They were making their way as Uncle spoke up. Arashi-san. Yes? Why were you in the forest of death anyway? You know that it's only for Jennings, right? Unless an emergency was called. Because it's the Chunin exams that is going on. Because of things going on with the village. And the years of bad blood between Naruto and Konoha. Hana-chan asked me to keep an eye on him in the second part of the Chunin exams. But then I heard a scream. That is where I found Team 7 and Orochimaru. And then you know the rest. I see. I'm not trying to interrogate you or nothing, she said. Thank you for helping me. I know I can act like a bitch most of the times, but I'm glad that you had my back. Not a problem, said Naruto. And if you're a friend of Hana-chan's, then you're a friend of mine as well. I trust her judgment towards people that she associates herself with. I won't just write them off just because they're from Konoha. As Naruto leaped over the gates and landed, as he made his way into the village. Meanwhile, with Hana, she had just finished a double shift at the vet clinic, and now she was heading home to refresh herself before heading towards the Forest of Death so that she could see the preliminaries to the final part of Chunin exams. Now normally, it was forbidden for non-participant members to go there, but her best friend was a proctor, and she had another best friend that had her students participating who was a Genjutsu mistress, so there was nothing for her to worry about. As she was making her way down the street, she saw someone running towards her. As she narrowed her eyes and saw that it was Naruto. She sniffed as she could smell another scent on him. He was carrying someone as she could see the person. The person smelled like Uncle. The blur then stopped right in front of her. As Anna was confused as she saw Uncle in a bad state, while her clothes was torn up and she had bandage over her. Arashikon. Sorry, Hana-chan, he said. I need to get Uncle to the hospital. I'll let you know when I come back, he said, as he vanished. Hana was confused, so she just went after them. Meanwhile, at the hospital, as Naruto handed Uncle over towards the hospital, as she gave him a kiss on the cheek, thanking him for saving her. As he saw Hana coming right afterwards. Okay, Arashikon, what's going on, she asked. As Naruto smiled to her flushed face after a full sprint run. As he took her hand, well, you see, as he explained, that son of a bitch, she growled out once Naruto was finished. Yes, he's very annoying, but he's also strong, said Naruto. He'll be really annoying to kill when time comes. Don't worry, he'll get what is coming to him. But I'm grateful that you saved Uncle. I was actually gonna get ready, then come to the exam to watch you guys. You want to keep me company, she asked. Sure, we finished early in the exam, and it will take a while, said Naruto. So that should give us some time to relax before I have to go back, he said. Hana pulled him along straight towards her house. Time skip, in the compound. Oh hey mom, said Naruto as he entered the house. Naruto-gun, what are you doing here? Is the second part of the exam over already? Said Katsumi, as she poked her head in the hallway from the kitchen. No, but my team already got to the tower, so I decided to explore, and ironically, I found Orochimaru. Tatsumi's eyes widened. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, said Naruto. He got away though. Oh, thank goodness, she said, knowing that man. After all, he was one of the Saiyans after all. She was confused though. Why are you here, she asked, as she didn't want him to get disqualified from the exams. Not that I don't want you here, she said. No, that might sound. I'm gonna be going with him to watch the preliminary matches, so I invite him over until time is ready. Hana said. Oh, okay. Alright, Naruto-kun, make yourself at home. As Hana brought Naruto to her room, as he sat in her bed as she told him to relax, as she went to take a shower. As Naruto lay there, he decided to take a short nap since he still heard Hana in the shower. A few minutes later, Hana stepped out of the shower. Her body still wet with water dripping. She grabbed her towel and partially dried herself off. A blush came on her cheeks as she wrapped the towel around herself. She crossed the hallway and entered her room as she found Naruto sleeping. He looked so cute. As her smile turned devilish as she walked up to her bed silently. As she leaned down, Naruto-kun, she whispered, in a rather seductive tone. As Naruto groaned as he slowly woke up, he reached out and touched something. Something was rather soft and also a bit moist. It felt so nice. As he slowly opened his eyes. Soft, smooth, warm, he thought to himself, as his hands were squeezing a pair of thighs, as something was sitting on him. As Naruto's gaze went down, a red underwear, before seeing a toned stomach, and a red bra. As he looked up towards Hana, who was sitting right on top of him, with a smile on her face. Oh, you like what you see, Naruto-kun, she said. Her tone was rather seductively, as Naruto could only nod. He was surprised. She had never been the one to start things physically. Considering her past, he never judged her one bit. And the fact that she was still dripping wet, her hair resting down on her back, and wearing just underwear, it got the blood flowing. As he snapped back into reality, certainly, one of the best wake-up calls I ever had, he said, as she moved a bit on his waist. Oh, really? She said. Well, it doesn't have to end here, you know. Is that so? Said Naruto, as she leaned down and planted a kiss on his lips. He did not hesitate to kiss her back, but she pinned down his arms. I'm the one in charge, she said. As Naruto smiled, well, go ahead, take advantage, he said. Oh, don't mind if I do, she said, as she started kissing once again. Jeez, you guys don't even lock the door. The both of them froze as Hana jumped off Naruto as Naruto turned, rolling over on the bed to hide something that he didn't want Katsumi to see. Well, the situation was rather given away already. Mom, don't you knock? Not in my own house. And besides, if you two were up to something, why didn't you lock the door? It's not my fault, Naruto murmured out. She started it. Oh, so my little Hana-chan is being all dominant, huh? Mom! Hana screamed. As Katsumi simply laughed. Next time, lock your door then. And the tea is ready when you come down, Naruto-kun, she said. Oh, and Naruto-kun? Yeah, said Naruto. I think it's my obligation to tell you. Despite her trying to be dominant, most Inazaka women love to be dominated in the bedroom. Something for later. As Hana screamed as Katsumi left, with a big grin on her face, as Naruto chuckled. Naruto-kun? Yes, dear, he said, as he heard her voice was too sweet. So you shove all the blame on me, huh? Well, it was you that started it, he said, as she jumped on top of me as they wrestled, until Naruto pinned her down. As he looked at her hungrily before capturing her lips, as she kissed him back without hesitation, before they broke away catching their breaths. Hana made herself ready as they made their way downstairs, joining Katsumi for tea as she asked about the attack, as Naruto told her what happened and a few other things. Before they talked a bit, but it was time for them to go. Hana went to the hospital to see Uncle was doing first. Afterwards, Naruto moved off as he jumped over the gates and made his way back. Meanwhile, at the tower, a handful of team was walking through the tower waiting for this part of the exam to be finished. Most of the team there was the favorites that people wanted to see, like the Whirlpool, the Sand, the Seven, and a few others as well. Haku was currently reading one Shinobi magazine as she was resting on the couch in lounge, as she was looking at an article that caught her attention because it was about Hayaton Jutsu, but the magazine was cut in half thanks to a kunai. As she looked up, where's the demon? She looked up as she saw Team Whirlpool, Valius in front of her with the kunai in hand. I don't appreciate you disrupting my reading, she said. Well, fortunate for you, I don't really care, since my brother's soul is at stake. Now where's that demon? And why do you wish to know that? A feminine voice said from behind them, as they turned towards Natsume. They did not focus on the blood that was splashed all over her. Because we want to know why it hid like a coward despite us looking for it in the forest, said Katsumi. Well, unfortunately, Team Hidden Stone found us first, and it was rather easy to take their scrolls and get here first. Valius pointed his kunai at her. What possible reason do you have for being teammate with that monster? Is that the reason why you're covered in blood? He asked. She snorted as he pushed her up against the wall with his kunai against her throat. As Natsume looked at him, rather shocked that he would do something so stupid. Big mistake, she said. But then she sensed something coming as she stopped herself. Katsumi felt something strange, but it was too fast. Bam! As Valius was sent sailing as he crashed over to the side. Valius got up with a groan pain as Naruto stood there. This is the second time I'm giving you a warning. The next time there will be none. Valius' eyes became murderous as a aura started to leak from Naruto as he gripped his fists. Valius was stopped by Katsumi. No, don't do anything stupid, she said. Not now. Enjoy yourself while you can, demon. Your time is almost up, and I'm gonna make you pay for that. As his team left the room, leaving only Team Icebox, Naruto sighed in annoyance. Can't leave them alone for a few hours before they start something. Where were you anyway, Naruto-kun? Said Natsume. She noticed that his wardrobe was back to his Jonin pants and sandals. Well, as he explained to Natsume and Haku, she was angry that he didn't contact her. But after hearing his reasons, it wouldn't make much sense. He was a slippery bastard indeed, but they will catch him. Alarms start to go off. All remaining teams, please report to room C5 for the final part of this exam. As Naruto and his team made their way towards the preliminary areas. Time skip. All of them were gathered in a battle arena. Welcome and congratulations to all of you that passed the survival exams. Sertobi's voice boomed throughout the room. This year participant is better than we expected, and a lot of teams have survived up to this point. Unfortunately, because of this, preliminary match must be given to load down the numbers that are here at the moment. For the participation of the final exam, as he explained the rules of the matches. Know that you understand the rules of the matches. Do any of you wish to back down before anything happens? After a few seconds, two hands went up. Uncle, who had recovered enough, and was now back in her job as a proctor, looked towards them. Names: Kabuto Yakushi. Sai. Uncle checked their name off before dismissing them, as Sarutobi kept a keen eye on this Kabuto as he watched him leave without saying anything though. The board then came down. Your name will be selected and you will come down to fight, understood? As the first team to pop up was Sasuke versus Yori, a member of Kabuto's team. This match really didn't last too long, as Sasuke came out as a victor. Kakashi came down and took Sasuke away after he won, as he was in pain. The seal is causing him more trouble than I thought. The board went through names once again. Gaara versus Araya, as Gaara stunned Shin in a wave of sand, as Araya walked down towards the arena. Oi Gaara, said Naruto before the match could begin. Do me a favor. As Naruto flashed right beside Gaara, and he whispered something right in his ear. Only Natsume and Yugito, who could use their demonic chakra to hear him, as the others couldn't hear what he was saying. But then a strange, sadistic smile came on Gaara's face, as Naruto patted him on the shoulder before vanishing. As Naruto glanced over towards the smiling Yugito, as he smiled back towards her. Evil, evil Naruto-kun, said Natsume with a smirk on her face. Naruto-kun, said Hana, and she was there as well. What did you tell him? Just leave him alive, said Naruto. As those words were rather cryptic, very cryptic. Are the both of you ready? He nodded. Begin! Araya jumped back immediately as he flashed through hand signs. I'll end this quickly. Lightning release. A lightning dragon projectile jutsu, he shouted. A lightning ball formed right in front of his arm. As he shot it forward, a head of a dragon was resembled from the lightning ball that roared and sped towards Gaara. Araya smirked as he watched as the dragon slammed right into the sand. That could not stop his dragon as he watched smoke fill the entire area. Call the match, Proctor, he said. But the match was not called. He had to move as a tentacle of sand came out and smashed the ground where he was. Damn it, he can manipulate the sand in such a manner, he thought to himself. The only person he knew of that could do that was the Kazekage. As the dust vanished as Gaara didn't even move a single inch. This is gonna be tough, Araya thought. Wait, if I can make his sand hot enough, I can turn it into glass. He shouted, I hope you don't think that you're invincible just because you have that dumb defense. As he flashed through hand sign, lightning style. Double lightning fist technique, he said. As Araya shot forward its hands, crackling with lightning as Gaara sent his hand forward. As Araya lashed out his right fist. The moment the jutsus hit, there was a loud crashing sound like glass being broken. They noticed where Gaara jutsu impacted with the lightning. His hand had turned into tan glass. Araya used the opportunity to shot forward as he made his way towards Gaara. But Gaara stand had a mind of his own, it seems, as he shot out towards him. But Araya could summon more lightning as he slammed into tentacle after tentacle, turned them into glass, breaking them apart. You're mine, he said, as he crashed his lightning-covered fist into Gaara's face, launching him backwards as Gaara crashed down to the earth. He smirked triumphantly, before he watched as Gaara picked up himself. He stood back in shock. What the hell? How are you able to stand after that, he said. As Gaara didn't say anything as Araya noticed his cheek, it was cracked. What the hell? What the hell is this guy? Made out of sand or what? Araya shouted. Is that all you have? Gaara asked. As Araya fist started cracked with lightning again. Not even close. Good, said Gaara, as he pointed a finger towards him, as his hand shot out once again. Damn it, Araya said, it's faster than before, as he flipped and dodged the first few tentacles out of pure reflex. He was on the defensive completely, couldn't even use his fist, as he had to keep on moving either way. He would be skewered. Damn it, if this keeps up, I'm done for. He was right as the tentacle of sand caught his foot. He was brought out of the air with a boom, his body slamming against the earth. As Gaara's sand rushed over him, bones snapped as Araya screamed out in pain. Araya was turned into a ragdoll as Gaara threw him, splashing him against the wall, slamming him against the earth, the ceiling, the balcony, crushing him. As Araya focused his chakra into his fist and punched the sand. As the heat turned into the glass and broke it, he dropped down towards his knees, panting and bleeding heavily, bones broken all over. I won't lose here, he said, as he coughed up blood. As he started to go through hand signs. No, said Akiko. Even if he was losing, he wouldn't do that, not in his condition. What, said Temari. His strongest jutsu, said Yugito. But on the inside she was happy. Finally, someone was kicking Arya's ass, making him know that he wasn't as strong as a Jinchuriki. She could beat him, of course, but he was always as arrogant just because of who his father was. and yet here he was getting the crap beaten out of him. Gaara could feel a high amount of chakra bulging inside the boy, from his stomach going up to his throat. As Gaara brought up his sand, cocoon of sand, he said, as Araya shouted, flash darkness! A humongous bolt of lightning shot out of his throat. It ripped through the ground as it rushed towards Gaara. It slammed right into Gaara's sand, electricity ripping the sand apart. Araya shouted, I win, he said, as an explosion went off as sand and dust, lightning spread through the air. Gaara, Tamar shouted. It was a nice shot, said Natsumai. Yeah, it was pretty good, said Naruto. The proctor was about to call the match when they saw a silhouette where the explosion went off. Impossible, Araya said. Couldn't believe in what he was seeing. As Gaara stood there, his body was cracking. Some of his sand armor finally fallen off even more. As Araya fell to his knees, that damn defense. He set up a dome and covered his body in more sand. Damn it, Araya screamed. I am the son of the Raikage of Kumo. I will not lose here, he shouted. As Gaara raised hands, a wall of sand slammed into Araya. His back crashed against the wall as he coughed up blood, before he dropped towards his knees, panting heavily. Simply because you're the son of a powerful person, that doesn't make you better than the rest of us. Now I will teach you what it means to be humble. The sand then surrounded Araya, as he started to constrict his movements. As Gaara started to clench his fists, Araya screamed. He screamed to the heavens. That's enough. Let him go. As Gaara dropped him, the match was over. The proctor clearly saw that, as his body dropped onto the ground, messy and broken. Both his arms and legs looked like someone let a pack of lions on them, without mercy. Surprisingly enough, though, he was still alive, but barely, gasping for air. Gaara had complete control of this match from the beginning. He could have killed that boy anytime he wanted, and that juice that he used on non-lethal parts of the boy's body. Seems like he didn't want to kill him after all. As Araya was taken away, the next match was Kankuro versus Mitsume, another one of Kabuta's teammates. As Kankuro was easily able to win that match after, revealing that he was a puppet the entire time. Too easy, said Kankuro as he made his way back up, with a smirk on his face. The board run through names once again. The next match was Yugito versus Akiko. As Yugito looked towards her teammate, as Akiko couldn't believe it. They never thought they would be put up against each other after all, but it seemed like fate had other plans for them. And with that, they made their way downstairs. Are the both of you ready? Yes, said Yugito. Wait, said Akiko, as she chuckled a bit. Never thought we'd be opponents, she said. Neither did I, Akiko. Well, Akiko said, I know I cannot win against you, but you always hold back against me. I would like to test my strength in a full fight. So please, give me the honor of fighting me for real, okay? No holding back. Alright? As Yugito nodded, as she looked towards the proctor. I'm ready now, said Akiko. Begin! The moment the match began, Akiko was planted in the wall, as Yugito had moved with a fast speed and knocked her in the stomach. She slammed into the wall without mercy. Whoa, she's pretty fast, said Naruto. Well, I'm sure that Nibi-chan hasn't been just sitting on her butt the entire time that she's been with her, said Izumi. The people near them wonder what the hell they were talking about. Shit. She's stronger now than before, thought Akiko as she pulled herself out of the wall. As the both of them started to collapse once again. As Akiko found herself being outmatched in everything, speed, strength, agility, as she was being knocked around. She thought that she was strong, but her friend was just amazing. Yugito was caught up in the lightning technique as she was blasted away. She landed on all fours though, like a cat. As Yugito shook her arm took most of the hit of the lightning jutsu. It was a bit numb. As they started the battle, despite her handicap, Yugito was still outclassing her in every way possible. As Akiko was blasted away, she flipped through handstand in mid-air. Lightning release. Static shockwave, she said. As Yugito moved out of the way without any problem. Stop that, Akiko said. You're still holding back on me. Let me at least see your full strength. Please, she said. Yugito closed her eyes. Alright, fine, she said. Alright then, said Akiko. Let's do this. As she flashed through handstand, lightning release, deadly gravity. The entire room flashed. Akiko smirked as Yugito was struggling to stand up, and the audience, some of them were having trouble in standing up as well. Sorry about that, everyone, she said. Even the Hokage and the Jonins had to hold on to the railing. My jutsu is based on the amount of chakra you have. So the more you have, the more gravity will be added onto you, as she kept the secret on how to break it herself. Sertobu was surprised that a young girl like this could create such an impressive jutsu. On the other hand, though, Naruto was standing there, as he was not much affected by it. Either he was so strong that jutsu wasn't affecting him, or it was because his chakra, most of it was concealed away. Akiko moved forward as she was able to get a good hand over Yugito, thanks to her gravity jutsu, but Yugito was still in that she grabbed her feet and threw her away, as she started to go through her own handstand of herself. Earth style. Earth flashing river, she said. The entire river. The entire ground was like a river of mud that rushed forward, sliding down as was able to negate Akiko's jutsu. Damn it, Akiko said, she broke it. The two of them balanced on top of the muddy river, regaining their normal movement. Yugito didn't move. This time, Akiko couldn't see her. Akiko found herself being thrust around, as blood burst from her mouth as she felt something connecting her stomach before she was hit up in the air. She received several hits going down as she crashed into the mud, before she was knocked into the wall. A powerful blow that slammed right into her chest. All the ears in her lung. Everything was knocked out of her. She was like a spiral as she slammed into the wall. She collapsed. She couldn't even move. Her body was tense, battered, bruised. Yugito rushed over to her friend. She overdid a bit. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't. But Akiko was smiling. Winner, Yugito with Proctor said. Thanks. At least you showed me your full strength. Thank you. Akiko said, a smile on her face towards her friend despite her bleeding and in a bad condition. As she passed out, as Yugito made her way back up, Naruto waved towards her, as he motioned for her to come over. That was amazing, Max said Naruto. You two did well, he said. Yeah, but I went too far in the last part. I didn't want to hurt her. I think she would have been hurt even more if you didn't fight her seriously. She was grateful that you didn't hold back on her. Yeah, you're probably right. Of course I'm right, said Naruto. She's your friend, and she understands. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said, with a happy smile towards him. Oh, sorry about that, said Naruto. Hana-chan, this is Yugito-chan, he said. As Hana looked towards her, she's number 2, said Naruto. Hana understood what he meant by 2. Oh, hello there. I'm Hana Imizaka, she said, a close personal friend of Naruto, as she wondered if the girl knew about her relationship between Naruto and her. She couldn't really say it out loud here because Naruto was under his disguise. An incredible match. Now on to the next one, as the board lighted up once again. It was Shikamaru versus Ken. Shikamaru was easy to take this by knocking her out. Troublesome, said Shikamaru. The board flashed through names. Valius, Uzumaki versus Kiba Inazaka. Finally, said Valius. Don't worry, Naruto. I'll get some revenge for you, said Kiba as he made his way down. But Naruto grabbed his hand, stopping him in his progress. As Kiba turned, what's up? Don't joke around with him, Kiba. Take him seriously. Kiba looked down towards Valius, as he saw that Naruto was dead serious. Don't worry, I'll handle this. So, I get to fight a mutt, huh? Said Valius. Keep talking. I'll make sure I stuff those words back in your throat, said Kiba with a smirk. You're gonna regret those words, said Valius with a smirk. Are the both of you ready? They nodded. This is gonna be fun, said Valius. Begin! As Kiba placed on Akamaru. Let's go, we'll hit him hard and fast. Four-legged technique, said Kiba. As he dropped on all fours, chakra leaking from him. The same thing from Akamaru. As Kiba shot forward and swung a kick towards Valius, who blocked it with ease. You're slow, said Valius, as he smashed his fist into Kiba's gut and sent him sailing back. Too slow, said Valius, as Kiba crashed on the ground. Damn it, he says, he felt something inside him broken. With just one punch? I guess Kabuto wasn't joking about this guy. Specialty in taijutsu. Kiba got up as he rushed towards the opponent once more, but he was once again knocked down. Valius put in minimum effort into his attack. Akamaru! As he flipped a pill to Akamaru. The dog catch as he turned red. Let's do this. Man-beast clone as Akamaru transformed into a copy of him. Now, as the both of them shot forward. So you turn your puppy into you, said Valius as he watched them coming towards him. Pathetic. Valius twists as he dodged their attacks, stepping back with the momentum as he watched them coming at him, before they suddenly jumped back. Twisting Fang! as they came at him with spinning motions as he jumped out of the way, as they crashed into the ground. But then they bounced off each other as they slammed right into him. Valius was shocked as he was knocked away. He looked towards his arm that got scratched up. "I'm impressed, Inuzaka. I never thought you'd be able to make me bleed, much less hurt me." "Oh, there's more to come," said Kiba, as Valius simply smirked. "Well then, let me put a foot forward, because you really think just because you were able to harm me, you won this. Let me show you that you're nothing. Fire style." "Fireball jutsu," said Valius, as he released a massive fireball from his mouth. The heat was incredible, and the thing was large, blocking outside of Kiba. Both him and Akumar sprinted to the side as the fireball obliterated the shinobi statue behind them. So this is the power of the Uzumaki's jutsu, huh? Kiba heard that they were quite strong. That is why the Uzumakis were so feared. But this was a shock. "Let's go, Akamari," he said. Both of them started spinning once again as they bounced off the ground, moving around Valius with quick speed, as Valius kept his eyes trained on the both of them. But he couldn't adjust their movements. They were moving longer than before, bouncing all around, hitting and twisting and bouncing off each other and creating dust all around him. "Not so tough when you can't see, huh?" "Getsuga!" Kiba shouted, as Valius looked around, before he felt something smash into his back as he was thrown. "Damn it!" he cursed. "You're letting him get to you, Katsumi," thought Valius as she was up in the arena. "Valius-kun, calm down. That is not how I thought you to fight." The feminine voice of Kushina Uzumaki said. "Maelstrom fists," said Valius, as everyone heard his voice echo in the smoke. A massive current of air was sent from the center of the arena. It came out in a 10-yard radius as Kiba and Akumara were sent sailing like ragdolls. They smashed into the wall, the pressure breaking them inside of it, as Kiba pulled himself out of the wall all bloody, as he spat blood from his mouth. "You should be honored, Mutt," said Valius as he stepped forward. "I didn't think I would have to show this so soon, but I suppose you should be honored if I have to use this on you. After all, Mutt doesn't see this." "Don't be so cocky. You haven't." Kiba couldn't get a finish shot as a fist slammed into his stomach. A large glob of blood poured out of his mouth as he leaned over on the fist. "He's fast," Kiba thought, as he was a distance away, and now his fist was planted inside Kiba's stomach. "You never had a chance to begin with." Kiba was insane as he smashed into the wall, as he picked himself up despite the pain that his body was rocking with. "What the hell was that?" "Maelstrom fist," Kushina said. "Valius-gun, original, favorite, most powerful taijutsu style. It allowed him to use his chakra as a body enhancer, increasing his movement and his momentum. Not only that, he can release his chakra at a physical point to release immense pressure, as you just saw." Everyone was surprised by that, as he looked down towards Valius, who was smirking at Kiba. Kiba dropped back towards his knees as he coughed up blood. Damn, she wasn't lying. Feels like my organs have been rearranged. He meant to laugh as the vision started to blur from the pain. It was too much. "I can't do this." Alone, he said. "Akamaru!" "Hey, Akamaru." As the dog whined and looked at Kiba. "Don't worry, boy. We can't give up yet. This asshole think that he can belittle Inuzaka. Let's show him what it means to be a real Inuzaka, okay?" As Akamaru barked, as Kiba went through hand signs, Hana was surprised. "He's really gonna use that?" "What do you mean, Hana-chan?" said Naruto. But before Hana could say anything, Kiba shouted, "Inuzaka style, rare beast transformation, two-headed wolf," he screamed. There was a massive poof. When the smoke cleared away, there was a massive two-headed wolf that was standing there. Impressive in the size. "But you're still a mutt," Valius shouted, taunting Kiba. The wolf snarled as Valius motioned to come, as the thing shot forward, before it leaped in the air and started to spin. Same attack, different look, Valius scoffed. But what Valius did not notice was an increase in speed that Kiba was moving at. As he had to move, Kiba smashed down in his new form so fast, Valius winced in pain as he saw cuts on his arm. The size of Kiba, as his range was a lot wider. That damn tornado, Valius thought, as he saw it around the damn wolf. Time to end this, Valius thought. That won't be happening again. I'm tired of fighting this mutt. Let's end this mutt, he said. Unfortunately, this was Kiba's last Getsuga, as this used up a lot of jutsu, and he was physically and mentally exhausted. It was a surprise that he was still standing, and Hana knew that, as she saw Kiba preparing himself to use his final attack. As the two boys shot forward, As they clashed in the center, a massive shockwave went out and dust and debris was blown all around. The dust started to clear away as Kiba was spinning, but Valius' hands were shooting up the air pressure that was stopping Kiba mid-spin. Valius then smirked at Kiba's spinning form. "You will lose, Mutt, next time. Try not to make so much rubble." A surge of chakra came out of his body, rushing to his arms as he intensified his technique. As it slammed into Kiba, there was a poof. As they separated, Akamar slammed into the wall, but not Kiba. As Kiba was grabbed by Valius, but not for a good reason, as he held him by the neck. "I win, Mutt, but I'm afraid. I never leave survivors." As he caught back his fist with enough chakra to vaporize Kiba's head. "Damn it," said Kiba. Valius knew that they would try to stop him, but they were too far, and he was too close to Kiba to stop, as his fist was already in motion. It wasn't like he was a shinobi of his village, so he didn't give a damn. As Valius slammed his fist forward, but it slammed into something tough. Valius didn't understand what the hell was going on. There was no part of the human body that was this tough to stop his fist like this. But when he focused, he realized something had blocked him. As he saw the cold stare of his brother, Naruto Namikaze, who held on to his fist, and Naruto didn't even budge. All the Jonins came to a stop. "We were gonna flash down there." Kurina was shocked. As she looked back to where Naruto was, that was just impossible. A Genin moving faster than a Jonin. Was that even possible? He reached down there before all the Jonins. He was fast. Incredibly so. Valius was more pissed that his face was stopped. "Kushina," said Naruto, his voice cold. "Teach this boy to learn some humility and mercy, instead of just jutsu to try and kill me. You made him so arrogant and yet so stupid." As Naruto yanked Valius' hand, who was still trying to push him back, popping the hand out of the socket before releasing him. "I find your words ironic, Kyuubi, especially after what you just did," said Kushina. "Perhaps, but he was never my opponent." "But he was just about to kill a family member of mine," said Naruto, "and I couldn't just stand there and watch. You know the value of family, right?" "Oh, I suppose you don't," said Naruto, as Kushina clenched her fists. As she wished that she could just finish a job that her husband started, but it would be an uproar if she killed a Konoha Genin. Hana apologized to Naruto as she had to miss the fight, and she made her way with the medics, as Naruto told her it was fine to go and check on her brother. Valius was declared the winner. No one really cared, as he made his way up, not caring about them either. The board then came to life once again. Ino and Sakura. The match came out to be a tie in the end, as the next match was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze versus Katsumi Uzumaki. Sarutobi sighed. He didn't want Naruto to face off against any member of Team Whirlpool, but he couldn't stop it. He was hoping that this wouldn't happen though, as there was a grin on Naruto's face, a wicked, psychotic grin. "Finally, I can save my brother," said Katsumi, as she made her way down. "Are the both of you ready?" Once they were down there, the proctor asked. "Yes," they said. "Very well. Begin!" Katsumi wasted no time at all as she released a massive fireball towards him. Her hand signs were faster than her brother's, as she shot the fireball towards Naruto. It was smaller than Valius though, but it was more powerful because it was more compressed and faster. She had more chakra control than Valius, it seemed. Not to my watch, so he's not gonna show his immunity to fire, huh? As she saw Naruto wing through hand signs. "Wind style. Sword of wind," he said, as he pressed his hands forward. Not bad, Naruto, Baki thought. To everyone's surprise, the wind was still there when he hit the fireball jutsu, and it was poking inside of it like when you were poking a knife against a water balloon. This shouldn't be possible, Katsumi thought. Here is a fuel source for fire. It shouldn't be suppressing my juice like this. What the hell is going on, she thought. Katsumi released more flames, more chakra. Everyone was shocked as they knew that Uzumaki had high volatilization for when anything would come towards ninjutsu, and Naruto was using wind to push back fire. Against a normal fire style jutsu, wind was supposed to fuel it, and yet this was not normal fire style jutsu. "Split," said Naruto. The blade split and sliced into the fireball. Katsumi had to leap away. As she looked behind her, the wall was ripped apart. That would have taken her out rather quickly. In a battle like ours, the advantage over element is meaningless. Is he lecturing me? She thought to herself. "Don't lecture me," she said. Uzumaki fire style. Majestic. Fire phoenix technique, she said, as Naruto smirked before jumping away from the small fireballs. He then mimicked what she did. Uzumaki fighting style. Fire phoenix technique, he said. "Damn it," said Kushina. Well, if any of you thought that the Kyuubi wasn't taking over him and controlling him, this was clear proof. Naruto was never taught any of her techniques, and yet no he knew them, as she knew that her children really hoped that their brother was still alive somewhere in that body. But it has been too long. She doubted that was possible. Katsumi grunted as she dodged his jutsus, before she looked at him with nothing but self-loathing and disgust. "You will pay for taking away my brother, you demon," she said. She slammed her fist into the ground, Uzumaki art style, revolving, splitting earth palm. She yelled. She lifted the earth that she ripped out and spin them like tops before tossing them towards Naruto. As Naruto dodged every single one of them before the last one hit him right in the face, his body tilted back in mid-air. She smirked, but she was panting after using those jutsus in a quick succession. She then looked back up. The moment she did, something slammed into her face. She had to slam her fist in the ground to stop her momentum as she reached up and held onto her face that was beaten red. She spat blood from her mouth. That was quite unladylike. "Didn't your mother teach you any manners?" said Naruto. She clenched her fist angrily, as Naruto's smirk seemed to increase at that. Now, as he cracked his neck, as he bounced on the ball of his feet, Natsumi smiled at that. Seems he's finally ready to put the hurt on her, Natsumi said, with a wicked grin on her face, as Naruto vanished, his speed abnormally fast. But guys, me and Sips are right here. If you want to see next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends, your social media platform, and also guys, go and check out the brand new episode over Anime King of What If Naruto was told about the Uzumaki clan from the beginning, and enjoyed that, guys. And he also posted a brand new episode over in Anime King 3 of What If Naruto was exiled from the Otsutsuki clan, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And remember, for you to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and support, and yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be your plan talking about to all of you. So without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace out.